Laughing Monkey Music Show. Today we have on Velvet Viper, we have on Holger and Jutta. How are you
Right.
tonight?
Good.
We're
Talking with
fine.
America, always
I know.
always a nice feeling. Yeah, it's
Well, I'm
good.
glad we could do this.
Mm.
I recently came across your music, and as much as I am into metal, I'd heard about your older band, and you can talk about that in a minute. But I hadn't been aware of all that's going on. I mean, there's so much going on in music, so to have this come in front of me and check it out was pretty exciting, and that's why I reached out and wanted to speak to you, and
Okay.
hopefully bring more people in to check you
Yeah,
guys out.
Awesome.
This is
yeah,
this is a really fun album, and I do want to say I want to talk about. But I do want to say that so the new album you have out is. It sounds to me, I love it because it's very fresh, it's very original. It has some of the old school metal feel, where it's not just mechanical. It's there's something about it. It feels like it breathes, and it feels very exciting, and it's not contrived, and that's what excited me about it.
Mm.
Um, but
Mm.
you want to hop in,
Oh,
you to maybe and kind of start with give people a little bit of knowledge of you guys,
okay. Should I start, Holger?
yeah, please
Ladies first.
go ahead.
please.
Okay, so I started '69. I'm a really old rock and roll pioneer, and I started with Hair and Jesus Christ Superstar and doing this and this and this. And I kissed many frogs before I know, okay, what's the right music for me. And this I found 1985, building Zedjago. That was my first heavy metal band. And then, yeah, we got this rock and roll sickness, we split. And 1990, I was creating, and I was starting with Velvet Viper. And then we had two albums, but then we came in a bad mood because metal wasn't so popular at this time. Other kind of music were taking place, like very good Nirvana and all those other bands. I mean, I liked them very much, but it was
It was
not a
all or
big fan.
nothing. Yeah,
Viper.
once grunge came, there was no room for metal.
Mm.
There's no sharing space.
Mm.
Yeah. And then, okay, I've done many things. Okay, I don't have to tell everything, but very lucky I was 2015,
15,
because
2015.
I'm 2015, and because I met Holger for the first time. And I thought, okay, what a good guitar player, what a nice guy. He's true and honest,
Mm.
and yeah, I just liked it. And he's blonde, and blondes have more fun,
They
so
say that.
it it works. And yeah, we understood right from the first minute, and I thought, okay, now let's make it for, um, again with Velvet Viper. Try to bring back the band Velvet Viper, and so we did. And yeah, I was lucky, and we have, yeah, four albums in 6 years, six
That's a
7 years.
Now, were some of them brought
Good
carried
work.
over? Some from Zed. I think I saw an interview piece with you, Holger. We talked about the
Mm.
trans. Was it like some of the songs came over?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Which
not
albums were
really.
those?
On the very first Velvet Viper album from 1990, I guess
Okay.
some of the songs were actually date back to the Jago days. But that's long in the past. And when we actually our first like new album from Jutta and I did
Hmm.
was 2018, and we kind of tried to emulate that Jago sound still, but we moved away from that with more and more, I guess, and now we have our completely own thing, I guess,
I think you
which
do. I
You
think as an
yeah,
found
we
outsider, I come
hmm,
in hearing just this album. I usually know a lot
hmm,
about metal, but I'm actually pleasantly surprised when I find something I hadn't experienced because it's exciting.
hmm,
So for me to hear this
awesome.
and then go back and hear like, what'd you do before this? And then I'll be back to Zed. And then so I have a different version of the timeline where I'm a little more separate from it. I can hear you took the essence and the energy from Zed and carried it
Hmm.
over, and then you just kind of evolved with your songwriting together, is what it feels like to me. It doesn't feel like it's way out there, but it doesn't feel like it's not a copy. It's kind of like, you took the energy and you went,
Yeah,
we went naturally with it.
yeah. We have a pretty constant live lineup. We have Johannes and Micha on the drums and the bass, and since we have those guys, we tend to have more like power metal double bass sections and faster songs. I guess that wasn't really there in Santiago, but it's just so much fun playing those songs on festivals, and
I like
so
I like this style of music very much because I told you I'm an old rock and roll pioneer, but I never wanted to be too much backdated, you know.
Right.
I don't want to be too much old school. And yeah, and this worked really good with Holger because he's young. He's much younger than, and the whole band is half this as I. So he gave me just a lot of inspirations for another tunes and for another melodies and for another for another kind of music. So we don't sound very old fashioned. I guess this is the reason.
No, I think that, but I also think I do hear a lot of nods back to the 80s when metal was growing and was fresh and it's good. And I think for an artist, as long as you're evolving your songwriting, you can sound however you want, especially in rock, because you can be all the types of rock and be like, that's who you are. Because, you know, when grunge came out, a lot of metal bands tried being grunge all of a sudden, and it just didn't look good because that's not who you were. I mean, you can try to evolve as a musician, but you don't want to not be who you are, because that's just not a good look, you know. So when I hear this, and I hear like the production, the bass, that sound, the bass has its own like leading thing. The guitar has its own frequencies. You know, the vocals are up here. It's got creative lyrics. I mean, the whole thing has like a great package where it all stands out, and it harkens back to something that was really great then. That kind of I don't hear it as much anymore.
Yeah,
So
I think
that forward is nice.
because I still believe this old rock and roll spirit. I still believe on a band playing rock music, and I still believe on a band in this kind of music. And so we always try to bring pure metal and pure music to the songs and to the productions. Not so much happen on digital ways. We don't have much samples and all these things. We just play and sing the notes we hear for, and we don't try to use other things, you know, to make it maybe bigger or
you don't need to. I mean, the album sounds huge. I mean, I believe me, I get a lot of music in my mailbox every day that I hear different types, and this stood out to me as newer music I haven't heard that. You know, and I don't usually look for new music. There's so much for me that I to go to. But when I heard it, I was like, "This really stands out. This is so different." So, which is great.
Come
you know?
come to America later. The audience, yeah.
There's a lot of people out here. A lot of people would love
this
it
would
over
be
there.
nice. But you know, it
you
always
never know.
depends on the financial things, you know. But it will be great. Yeah, it will be. Yeah,
I think what's happening, we talk about this sometimes on my show, is bands over, like, whether it be Germany or all through Europe, coming over to America is expensive. Even American bands aren't touring the same because it's expensive with gas and rentals and stuff. There's a run on it. But I think what's been working best for people is either doing festivals or getting on like a package tour with like 3 or 4 bands. So everybody's kind of like a couple bands sharing 2 buses. Like it makes it much more economical and much more of a fun trip for everybody. And you have a bunch of different artists. So you bring in a bigger crowd. So it introduces you, fans of each band gets introduced to the other bands.
Yeah.
And it becomes profitable too. Because, you know, obviously you want to tour, you don't need to make $1 million, but you don't want to be in the red either. So, I mean, there's a balance of it. You still have to pay your bills.
Yeah, definitely. In Germany, especially, you don't have the long ways from one city to the next, so it's a little bit easier. We can go and make 2 or 3 shows in a week maybe, and then drive home again. I guess that's not possible in the States because everything is so far apart. Yeah, but going back to the last point we had, we try to be creative and modern within our space of 3 guys with 1 Les Paul through a Marshall stack. and you have limitations definitely, but we want to have these limitations, and we use choirs, I guess, quite a bit
Mhm.
to have bigger sound, but that's about it. But we used to have orchestra arrangements on some albums, but we didn't do them this time because we had to play these songs. We had samples from MIDI track or something, and we completely quit doing that because we got sick of playing to a click track, and now we're back to three instruments in Jutta.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I mean, those kind of things are more like, the frosting on a cake. It's good. It's not like nowadays where people are complaining about other bands that can't play their music, they have to bring it on a laptop. So I love live music, live rock and roll, live metal, whatever you want to call it. It's live and it's great and it breathes. And you can have samples for sounds because you can't bring a whole choir on, you can't, certain vocals you can't do, but you want to hear the singer. You want to hear the guitar player. You want to hear it live. I want to hear bad notes. I want to hear somebody breathing.
Mm.
I don't want to hear the record because if I want to hear the record, I can listen to the record at home. And I don't
Yeah.
have to be on, and I don't have to be
Exactly.
around people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the beer is more
It's
affordable in my house. So like to me, it's like I want to go out and experience, the energy of a rock show and
Yeah, and
live
it's
breathing.
always something else being on stage. I mean, it's always something else. It has nothing to do with the record. A record is just another thing, no? And
It is
live, you see the people and you have them face to face, and you can look in their eyes and they see how you sweat and how you try to get this key, and you work on it so very hard, and sweat's running from your head down your feet, and you just go on because you can't. You, you can't deny it, you just do it. And even myself, I'm so many years on it, and I still felt like when we have a concert, I felt in a fountain of youth,
You've got
and
great energy up there.
I stay there for a long, long while. And I mean, that's it. And that, yeah.
There's a lot out there. You guys have a lot of good videos, and which the videos are great and fun. But what really I enjoyed is there's a lot of good live footage out there, from festivals and stuff. So obviously, I haven't ever been able to see you guys live because there's obviously this whole thing about this whole big ocean in the way. But there is the opportunity to hear you guys live. You guys sound great and fantastic, and it feels like it's the energy's there. You can just feel it. It's real.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I encourage people to check it out on YouTube too, and or any other places. And I'll put the link for your website underneath here because you have a lot of good music to check out. I mean, the album we are promoting now is the new one. Do you want to say anything about the new one in particular that we can kind of talk about a little bit, so people can be checking it out?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's called Nothing Compares to Metal, released via Massacre Records. It's I guess I don't know. Jutta, any thoughts on the new
you have a
album?
couple singles. You have a couple singles out in videos,
Sony,
right? So
Yeah, all right, yeah. We
AF
have
and Sony. Massacre Records belongs to AF and Sony Music.
yeah.
And
I guess we have two singles out in videos on YouTube. It's the title track "Nothing Compares to Metal." It's pretty heavy song, I guess, for
this
us.
is our loud song for metal because I believe it. I'm so proud that I stopped playing easy rock and roll going on in the 70s. I'm so proud that I changed in 1985 into metal, and I found out that's the only way for me. I really love it, and I love it till I die. And I love the audience, and I love the people who come to the show and who get older with us and stay with us and buy the records and buy the tickets and don't care what's going on Spotify and don't care what's going on in the internet. I just love it, and Nothing Compares to Metal is just a love song for metal because that's what makes me feel I'm home. This is my home.
Metal is a very loving community. I don't think it changes. I think you do grow with it. It's great. I'm in my 50s and I go to shows now with my daughter who's in her early 20s. So, and she's getting into it. So, I mean, it's a nice thing to go to. It carries over well. To different generations.
But you know, it's quite the young generation. Okay, they have nothing not much to do with rock music and metal. You know, they're
Not
just
as much. Not as much. Yeah.
music. But it's always the same. You know, when we were very young, we listened to other music than our parents. I mean, it's some kind of normal, no? But I still believe that especially metal will stay on the scene. You know, it won't. It stays because people are true, and we, as I said, they follow you when you play, and we play. We love club gigs. We love the clubs, and yeah, and they come and they stay with us, and yeah, and it's always a good feeling, and sometimes it feels really familiar.
Yeah, familiar. Family. Yeah, both actually like
Because
family and familiar. Yeah.
we see so many friends we already know, and yeah, and they come again and again and again and again, and I mean that's it, and that's
What's
metal.
different about it, I think, and I can say this, I mean, you could look at Instagram, which is the worst place to get followers up and down, and who's an influencer, and somebody has a billion followers and plays on their, in the bedroom, which is fine. I'm not knocking them, but it doesn't really matter because I bet you somebody could have, I don't know, 500,000 followers, and you're probably going to fill up more of a club or a show than they will because you're a band that plays out and the loyalty is different than who's going to click on their phone and scroll through. Anybody can click and watch it on your phone. Who's going to get in their car, drive to the show, do it at night, a work night, a school night, put the money out there, spend the time, invest. That's different than just being a follower. Followers just pressing a button. So the loyalty that a rock band and metal band have, and you guys have, is it's like a longevity. It's not going to change with fads. In fact, as time goes
That's
on,
true.
as you have children, or your fans have children, your audience grows. You just got to keep growing with your audience, and outlive everybody. That's the key. You'll have a bigger audience,
Yeah.
And the metal fans, they still buy T-shirts and vinyls, and so we get at least some money from our concerts.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
That is. I have so
Yeah,
many
I guess.
shirts. I have so many shirts. I'm going to be pushed out of my house soon.
Yeah.
I have no room. So many black shirts. That's what I gotta say. It's for everybody in the metal community. Every metal band, start making shirts that aren't black. I need something else in my wardrobe.
I don't know. We had some gray
Purple,
ones.
anything.
We had some gray ones,
Gray's good.
and
Gray's good.
no
White.
one wanted those.
Really?
So we got back to the black ones.
It kills me. I have a yellow Merciful Fate one. I'm like, come on, it's the only shirt I have with color.
Gray is a perfect color. I mean, gray doesn't give something and doesn't take something. It's no reflection. Gray is a really a good color, no, but nobody wanted.
It holds up over time too. It doesn't look as worn either over time to get the right color. It looks, it does hold up well. I don't know. I think people need them. I do want to ask you. So and I love the artwork of the album with the snake on it. I love snakes. I used to when I was a younger person. I used to have a lot of snakes of my own. What's the fan of actually snakes? Where'd that come from? Where did the snake influence come from? The name and the art and stuff.
It's inspirations from where?
The story of the Velvet
snake,
Viper.
Like,
there is actually a story, but
who's the love?
I can tell you, and
if you have the time.
And tell you something, Sean, it will be very nice to talk in German, because in English I have no practice to speak. So I beg your pardon, and I'm sorry.
You speak fine.
Sometimes a little chaos. It's a bit of warmth with chaos. But Velvet Viper, Cleopatra don't want to live anymore. And she went to the river, and she had a basket, and she put some snakes into the basket. And she went and she took the basket to her grave, to her stony grave. And then she lay down, and the snakes came, and she wanted to have a smooth death, So
suicide by snake bites.
A little snake bite and die. So the snakes did their bite her. But one snake didn't. And this is Velvet Viper. Hey, she took the crown of Cleopatra, and digged herself through the stone. Raus in die Freiheit.
To the surface, back to the surface.
And this is very diverse. She never killed someone. She's the mother of the snakes, and she's just hey. Oh,
Awesome.
here. Say hello to Sean.
That'd be a python right there. I had a like 11-foot red-tailed boa in my house for a while for a pet, and it attacked me.
Oh, awesome.
And that's, I'm telling you, a snake bite is not the way to go. Not the snake was so big, it was in its. So I took it. I had lots of snakes, but we had it in the cage, and my people I took it from was rescuing it had like a clear like lid over it, so you could see it, which is really bad when you're opening any kind of container with a snake because you're opening it and you're in the bad defense. This snake was sick and had like a mouth rot or something, so it couldn't see very well. I unlocked it when I opened it. It sprang out, and obviously being 10, 11 feet, it had a lot of strength, and it shot out and it wrapped around my body, and it took its big head. Its head was about the size of my fist, and it bit my hand. It was trying to crush me. My roommate was there and actually did it. It was insane. So the power of being attacked by a snake, like in like modern society, like in your apartment, a snake that big was bananas. I still love snakes, but it was the craziest thing. I had to go to the hospital. They're like, "What are we tetanus shot?" Yeah, it was because so fast. Snakes are so fast. Like it shot across the room. It bit my hand.
Yeah,
it was so big, and then it just wrapped its body all the way around me. And obviously, you got to grab by the tail to get it out. My roommate like grabbed it fast, and he broke the grip fast, and he threw it back in the tank to close it. Snake turned around, tried to get out, and it hit the plexiglass, which was like smearing my blood across it. It was like I don't know, like 20 or 6 holes in my hand from its like little teeth. It was insane. But that was just my good snake story, right?
Okay, that's why we have a rubber.
You survived.
That's why we have a rubber snake.
Yeah, it's always rubber snakes. It's always rubber snakes. And I'll tell you what, though.
Yeah.
I will advocate for snakes for the rest of my life. It was doing what it did naturally. I don't take it personal.
We have a title track for this one. Holy Snake Mother from the last album.
That's a good video. There's a good video for that. Yep, it's a good video.
And we showed the story of Cleopatra and the snake and how she died and all these things. And we showed the story a bit. Yeah, Holy Snake Mother.
It's actually.
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid about snakes. Many people go, "Oh, snakes!" No, I think it's just a wild animal, and I'm the same. Like I don't I don't play with the tiger or with the lion. They're all those wild animals, and you should leave them there where they are, and you don't have to cushion. What has cushion?
Let's pet them.
Yeah.
Or take them to your bed.
So snakes too. The snakes just got this bad image from.
They're just natural animals. I think the only time, even after I got bit, that didn't bother me. But back then I worked also in a pet store part-time, and I worked in the reptile room, and it was so there's it was cool. It was actually reptile and birds, and so in the back, so like if you'd walk in, there's like almost like a U shape, so you could see on each wall and in front of you all these snakes and stuff, and then behind the things, like almost like a U, you can walk behind the doors and take care of them as a pet store person. But what happened is there's albino snakes, and any animal that's an albino is usually inbred, and they're kind of loco. They're kind of not right in the head, and they're kind of mean. So usually albinos are not always the best thing. So these were albino snakes. I don't know where they got them, but they always escaped. You could always hear them hissing above you, and that was kind of creepy. I'm gonna be honest with you. That was like the heebie-jeebies because you didn't know if they were gonna come down on you, and they're like, it's just.
This one is a birthday present from Holger to me.
See?
And now she loses her skin.
She's shedding.
I have to fix her with taser stripe. So
but the snake
so
now
the snake kind of
October the 19th is another birthday, Holger.
Yeah, maybe I get you a bigger one. The snake kind of became our Eddie, or
your mascot.
Like we have snakes everywhere, and we have a big backdrop with red lights coming out of the eyes behind the drum set. It's kind of cool thing.
It does look pretty cool. I think I like it. I like the snake. I like the album cover too. And I just want to end up by telling people I'm going to have the link underneath the show to check it out. Obviously, if you're hearing on YouTube or watching YouTube, it's on all podcast sites. Go below, click on the links as usual. Besides the music, the production, I want to say the album, the production also sounds great. It sounds so fresh and live. It feels like you're there. I really like that. It doesn't feel stale. I think to me, I was like a big sound, and I can hear every single instrument and the vocals, and I don't feel like it's muddied. And you can hear the words, and you can hear it and follow along. It's not like you're like, what? Turning it up. So, bravo to the whole production with that also.
Thank you.
It
The
feels so
production
good.
was done. Production was done by Michael Ray. Actually, he's a drummer for Gamma Ray and Primal Fear.
Oh wow.
He's pretty well known as a drummer, and he also does productions. And he handled that really well, I guess.
And we're friends a long time.
Tell him bravo. Tell him
bravo. Coming from the north.
We let him know. Thank you.
He's also living in the north of Germany, and we know us each other many years. Like Kai Hansen from Halloween, he produced the first Velvet Viper LP, Respires Feinem, Respike Finem, and so we help each other. If somebody needs a drummer, I call Michael. Hast du Zeit? Do you have time? Can you help us? Our drummer is sick or whatever, so we can play the shows, and we don't have never a show to cancel. We always find a way to make it. And this is good. Friends.
Well, it's community. It's community. It's not just like fans. It's good. And also, you have some shows coming up, but it's on the site. They're all in Germany, I believe, because I believe it's all in German, right? Are all the shows coming up in Germany right now? Your next few shows?
We have this Friday and Saturday. We are in southern Germany. I'm afraid, it's near Frankfurt and near Stuttgart. We're kind of stuck in Germany, but it could be worse, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you have an audience, you have a crowd. I mean, things could change. You never know. I think the future is going to be package, 4 or 5 bands on a bill to tour outside of territories.
I used to say, playing rock and roll means also go away on the autobahn, up and down and up and down, and that's what we do. I mean, that's why we're here.
It's like being a pirate or a sailor. You could go around the world and get tattoos and show up and tell stories and listen to music and make friends and move on.
Right.
Hopefully steal some gold.
Sean, I was in America, 1989. I was in New York, and I was in LA. We had some promotion going on for Santiago, the Santiago pilgrimage, and it was very nice. The newspaper, we had a few interviews, and they wrote about us. Fasten your intellectual seatbelt, because of Santiago is coming. Because I used to play. Even on this time, themes from the classical parts, like the Flying Dutchman, like Pilgrim's Choir, Richard Wagner themes, and that was nice. Fasten your intellectual seatbelt.
Well, it was probably very fresh too, because a lot of bands
BMG music group was that. That's nice.
Very cool. Well, I'm sure it was exciting.
Of course, and of course, when we went to LA. I mean, LA bands, clubs, and we went to
89.
4 bands each night playing there in the Rainbow Club, and however the names were, but it was nice. But it was good experience. It was very, very good to see.
It's good you got to see it, because it's not like that anymore. The world is not like that. There's LA's not like that anymore. It's not the same. Everyone's out in Vegas or Nashville. They've all moved.
Okay.
There's only a few people in LA now. It's really funny to hear that. Actually, it's a new world. It's definitely a new world. But because everybody can communicate over the internet, it's helped streaming and videos and streaming concerts, because have opened up some of the borders that you normally couldn't do. A conversation like this would have been more challenging, prior to the technology. So that's a good point. But I want to thank you guys for coming on the show and taking some time today. I want to encourage people to check you guys out. All the music, all the earlier albums too. Uh, I'll just go to the website. The website has everything. It'll give some band info. The albums are there, tour dates. Actually, am I missing something? I got actually the website up. Is there merch? What do you guys got for merch? You guys selling merch? Is there anything on there? Are you guys selling any merch?
No, we don't. We sell our merch at our
Just
shows only.
Just the shows, nothing on your site?
Yeah, it's for basically it's for tax reasons. It's really complicated to set up an online store in Germany. So we decided at some point to sell it.
I only say it to every band. I always encourage
maybe
people.
It's different, Sean. Maybe it's different in America, but in Germany they don't sell any much physical LPs or CDs because people use the music for nothing in the internet.
Spotify.
So, yeah, vinyls become big. You see, vinyl is like one of the biggest sales right now. It's come back.
So this is really hard. Is it the same in America?
It's hit or miss. I mean, because you do have loyal.
I mean, if you're not the first lead, if you're not the first, if you're just.
No, I think there's a lot out there. I always encourage you. That's what the show started during the beginning of the early days of COVID. I mentioned I started because I wanted to, when artists were at home and they weren't working, I was like, the band would come on, we'll talk, and then we're like, all right, let's support the band. You can't go to the show, buy a shirt, buy a mug, buy an album that you don't have. So that's actually the evolution of the show. So my habit is at the end is I also want to make sure if there is any merchandise to support the band, because the websites is the direct payment to the bands, less people in the pockets of the band. The goal of the show is to promote the band. So I want to any kind of profit that the band could make, I always want to encourage it to go towards that artist. So that's why I asked. There's no wrong answer. It's just
Did you play music? Did you play the band? Did you ever play?
I did, and I do. I just play guitar for fun now. I started that a couple years ago, but when I was younger, actually in 89, 90, I was going to college for recording in the studio, and I did that for a while, and I did some radio station stuff, and then it's like music business is kind of gross, and I wasn't doing anything creative, and the money wasn't there, so I switched over to more of a technical field. But as I was doing well, though, I realized I could take my skill set and on the side start doing something to other musicians that could use some promotion. So that's the evolution of me. But I've done a little of everything. Yeah, from playing to radio to recording, and now I just do it for fun. So
yeah, but if anyone wants to support us, just buy a vinyl maybe on Amazon or somewhere. The money will reach us.
And go to the clubs and join your local bands.
Yeah.
Support them. Even for the young bands, they should need a chance to live with the music.
If they play out, yeah. And the young bands need to play. The young bands need to go out and play clubs though, and play live music too. They need to do that. They need to play live music before they start. Want to become rock stars. You know what I mean?
The snake story was awesome.
It was pretty traumatic. It's a good. It's funny. It's a funny story to tell people. Its head was so big, it was like a dog. It was like a small puppy.
It's always excitement to talking with the American boy, but I get into it. I mean, I'm young. I can learn everything.
Well, I thank you for calling me a boy because I'm 50. I'm 53, so I just appreciate you calling me that. You already won me over. So
Okay.
It's been a long time. Thank you guys. You have a good day. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.